Council 2025. You're all right, Anne, no worries. Do we have any apologies for absence, Sharon?
Yes, we have Councillor Westby, and I haven't got any apologies from Councillor Reynolds. I think that's it.
I think it is. Thank you. Any declarations of interest? No. Public participation. For this we have 10 minutes. Would any members of the public like to participate? No. Okay. Next we have item 4, which is to consider the council's measures to ensure the safeguarding of its members and staff for consideration and resolution. Councillor Ashby, at this point, can I please hand over chairmanship to you, just so there's absolute impartiality?
Yeah.
Cool.
Good evening again. Thank you, Councillor Taylor, for opening the meeting and bringing us all together and to the point with regards to item 4. Would anybody like to open proceedings to make comment on this particular item?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, Councillor Sam Taylor.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say that it's really sad that this meeting's been necessary. There's always going to be residents within the community that are disgruntled, but there's been a recent surge in the negativity being projected towards myself and my family, primarily in our roles as councillors and consequently this council. What's most unfortunate about this is that this mostly stems from a business decision that had nothing to do with the council or our roles as councillors. It is not a reflection of our commitments to this community that we have diligently served on and off for decades. It remains somewhat a mystery to ourselves how the details of a private business transaction found their way into the public domain, or how the residents that have been so vocal on the withdrawal of this business transaction have considered themselves in a position to presume they know the ins and outs and assign blame. I can assure members of this council and the residents that there were many valid reasons for the withdrawal, including failure to comply with the terms of the lease, failure to sign and return the lease, instances where staff were posting with drug paraphernalia on social media while promoting the premises, and breaches in licensing legislation, amongst other things. I stress this was a private matter in our private and business lives, and was not and is not connected in any way to the town council or our roles as councillors.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Sam Taylor. Anybody else, any comments?
If I may, so Tristan, I know you're at least aware, there recently has been a Facebook page set up, Taylor Town Out, and the purpose of the page is primarily to slate individual councillors and the wider town council, so all members will be affected by this. And in recent months, there has been a few decisions, I feel, that have contributed to this. I think we as a council, when we made the decision to take back control of the Bono building, the management of that building, we presumably knew that there would be some ill feeling from realms within the community, not the whole community, but it was a decision that was taken by the whole council, not just a few individual members, the whole council for the benefit of the wider community. And things like this decision have probably sparked, as Councillor Taylor alluded to, probably a minority of people that have now taken quite a strong voice in opposing particular members and, well, the wider council. That's one example. There are many more, as Councillor Taylor also just alluded to, private matters that are not a reflection of a councillor's abilities as a councillor or their commitment to the community. And I'm aware of allegations beyond that of just my family, but other council members as well, which, you know, it's unconnected. It's not really reasonable for it to be drawn into this forum. but it has been. And I will say the detrimental effects that it's having on the council, bringing it into disrepute, it has been quite upsetting. I actually felt that we've got to a point where the council was above this, beyond this, that actually our members were working collectively, harmoniously for the benefit of the whole community. And I don't know how, in such a short space of time, that has been completely turned on its head. And that there's people that are so blind to this, when actually, and I still feel it now, I might not like every single person sat at this table on a personal level, but collectively, we are doing a great job. We are putting provisions in place for the town. We are probably the most proactive council I've known in the 10 years that I've been a member here. And so it's like, it's a shame that it's got to this point where actually when we're trying so hard, all of us, we're in this position where we need to maybe defend ourselves. And one example of this is, for weeks now, our agendas have been posted on social media, advertising our meetings, trying to get more public engagement. Our comms has been really strong, and there's never, in all that time, since October when that begun, there's not been a single negative comment on the posting of those agendas until about a month ago. And I don't think it's a coincidence. And I think that actually, I know there is a item to move below the line, and if and when we do, there is more that I would like to say, because I think where it is stemming from a few, they seem very vindictive individuals, I feel like there maybe needs to be some actions taken to actually address the conduct of those individuals so that their behaviour is drawn to an end.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Sorry, yeah.
This isn't the first time, but we didn't support the other person who was threatened on the council, who was threatened to have her cat killed, involved the police, and in the end left the council because she couldn't cope with the thing. So that was ignored. It was pushed under the line. Now, obviously, everything is coming above the line. I mean, that was the police were involved with that. It's not just hearsay. It was definitely.
How many years ago was that?
Just a couple. Just a couple after the last election. So very recent, really. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm
Councillor
just
Santon.
asked why that was never brought to all members of this council if the police were involved. Why were the members of this council not asked to support that?
I have difficulty hearing you, Sam. I'm sorry.
I'm just asking why the council wasn't made aware of that.
Well, I think the council was made aware of it.
No, I've been on this council since the last election, and it's the first
Well, I'll
I've
speak to you
heard of it.
afterwards and I can tell you who did it.
But well, I'm just concerned that if this is an ongoing, why it was never brought to the council for a formal resolution on how issues like this are dealt with.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Taylor.
I do think though that actually does stress the importance of tonight's agenda item.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else?
I've not read everything on Facebook. I've heard what some has been said, and it concerns me greatly that as a body of people, muck has been thrown. And it will stick if we're not careful. I don't know how you get around it. The only way you're going to get around it is someone has slandered or libelled. That's an extreme route to have to go down, and I hope we never have to. But all I would say is to anybody listening or anybody in the public gallery, come down and see what we do. That's all I would say to you. We do an awful lot and you don't see much of it. And I'll say that to the wider audience. We've got nothing to be ashamed of. We don't make decisions that everybody likes. But sometimes you have to grow up and make those decisions. I'm just very saddened that we've all been maybe hit with the same brush. That's terrible. That's all I would say.
Thanks, Councillor Thwaites. Anybody else? Councillor D'Souza.
Thank you. Yeah, like Councillor Thwaites says, it is sad. I didn't know anything about any of this till Sharon gave me a phone call last week and told me about it. And I think it is sad how you don't have to get on with people around the table, but outside there, if you're getting personal abuse, we need to address that urgently, because as MPs have found out, it can have serious repercussions. And I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but I think, as you said, a month ago we had a great event here, didn't we, with your mayor event, and I thought that was brilliant. And it just seems that certain individuals have got a problem with this council for whatever reason. It'd be good if they were here today to actually address us and say what the problem was, because it's not an easy job. It's a thankless task, isn't it? We're all volunteers at the end of the day. So yeah, just, you know, let's grow up, basically.
Okay, thanks, Councillor D'Souza. Anything else? Yep, Councillor Taylor.
I am mindful when the agenda was set, we obviously wanted to keep, you know, some of the item in public forum to give context to obviously some of the issues that we're facing as a council, to maximise the openness and the transparency. But I would like to move that we move below the line so that some of the content can be disclosed to members and discussed.
Before we do, we've had more people join the meeting in the public gallery. Can I propose that we, what's the correct terminology about opening up public participation again, so people's got an opportunity to say something in person rather than. Yeah, proposal to suspend.
Propose that we suspend.
Seconder.
Second that.
All in favour? Okay, so suspending standard orders, that means that now the opportunity for people in the gallery who've very kindly joined us have an opportunity to speak. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Going once, twice. Okay, we'll close that again. So people have had an opportunity. I'm happy to go below the line, but before we do, I just wanted to have a say as well. So I'm not team anybody. As deputy mayor, as Tristan Ashby, as town councillor, other than team Attleborough. And all I care about is the town. I live here, I work here, put myself forward, up for election, which sometimes means you can fall flat on your face. But rather than sit at home moaning, bleating, I thought I'd come forward and try and do something. And I must admit, I think from 2023 onwards, particularly the last year, we've achieved a hell of a lot, and I'm blooming proud of what we've achieved. I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't want to know all the ins and outs unless it's town council related. But I'll tell you now, I don't like bullies. I do not like bullies. I was bullied at school. I know what it's like to be bullied. And I think when you're talking about adults who are trying to bully somebody out of a position because they don't like them, that ain't on. If you've failed the code of conduct, you should be held to account. If you've acted with criminality, you should be taken to task. But we don't all have to get on with each other. And just because we don't like one another, or just because we don't get on with one another, doesn't mean we can't be respectful and think about what we're here to do, and that's to serve. Serve the community, serve the public. And I think we've been doing it pretty darn well up till recently. And I'd like us to get back on that footing. So I just wanted to have my say, if you don't mind. So if you've got a proposal to move below the line. Seconder? All in favour? Okay, it means we're going to exclude the press and the public and go in private session. Thank you very much for your time.